Going over to the political part of the podcast, you have the United Auto Workers making a concession. Dear God, I never thought they would. Now, they originally proposed 10 things that they want, which would cost each of the United Auto Workers $80 billion over the course of the 4-year contract. Does that seem realistic at all? No, it doesn't. Now, some people say, I don't know the gripes of the factory workers. I'm looking at this from one side. Well, I've actually had family on both sides of the UAW. Truth be told, some of them came from Michigan. And kind of by default, Michigan's big economic field, automotives, Detroit, kind of a big deal. So I have some fascinating tales from both sides of the political aisle, so to say, if you want to make this, well, it is a political issue since they donate millions upon millions upon millions of dollars to politicians. And they came to the table with these 10 things, and they had offers from all the big three automotive companies. The big three, they took their time putting the offers together. Somewhat ironic coming from a company or an association or a union that's known for slowing down productivity. But nevertheless, they got offers back and they just called them insulting. The UAW president threw them in the trash pejoratively, which was good marketing because visually speaking, you get to see him throw something in a trash bin. The trash bin being labeled with craft little letters saying the big three. Now, they're finally offering a concession. Instead of wanting a 40% increase of wages, again, this is in addition to the 9 other things they want, including working 32 hours a week but getting paid for 40, getting pensions back, which aren't competitive or realistic in any way, getting retirement benefits back, getting increased medical benefits for retirees. They want cost of living adjustments, all of that, and much, much, much more. Now, instead of wanting 40% increase of wages, again, that would be over 4 years of the contract, but still, no one gets that good of a increase. Most people I know get 2 to 3% increases in their salaries unless they're moving to a different role in the company. This is people doing the same job, but just existing. So it's not even performance-based, which is, a lot of people would say that's what a union is. It's just tenure-based. Best example in history being the post office. Perhaps the perfect analogy. Now, instead of a 40% increase, their concession is a 36% wage increase. 36% over 4 years, which is still huge. No one's getting that. That's astronomical. And even if you divided it equally, so 36% over 4 years, it's a 9% increase every year. I don't know what substances they might be inhaling, but that is a very high number, pun moderately intended. And again, I don't think it's realistic because the industry trends right now. Right now, look at GM Corporate. They cut 5,000 salary jobs in February 2023. By cut, I mean they bought them out of the contracts. So they paid out the remaining of their contract and eliminated the position. Their goal is to cut several $1 billion to directly compete with Tesla. I don't think that's a prudent business decision. I think the best thing for the unions and GM would actually be focus on their core competency. The core competency being trucks, V8 engines. GM makes a great V8. The Corvette used to be a great vehicle with 3 pedals and a stick shift, as all cars should have. But their trucks are great. They make the company a lot of money. They used to be more durable. But Mary Barra, the CEO, wants to go EV. That's the decision they want to make. Cadillac, she says, will be full EV by 2030. I don't think that's prudent. She wants the whole fleet, so all of GM's intellect brands. You have Buick, GMC, Chevrolet, as well as Cadillac. She wants all to be EV by 2035. If they want to be successfully transitioning to an EV company, it's going to cost billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. Also, they're going to need to go out and hire software engineers. They need a different skill set for this type of transition because they're going to try to compete with Tesla. I don't know how realistic that goal is, but that is the goal. They chose it, not me. And in order to do that, it's going to be very risky, very expensive. And at the end of the day, it might not work out. It's a huge risk. They're literally changing around their whole business. Their most successful EV, I think, up to now being the Chevy Bolt, which appropriately burst into flames. Pun intended. It was recalled, I believe, in 2019 for bursting into flames, and then last week because the cord would shock you. So they have a lot to learn. I'm not saying they can't necessarily do it, but that's the direction they want. It's an expensive direction, and this is increasing their costs well above the competition's cost of labor. The competition's cost of labor is much more economical. Those cars are much more durable. Those vehicles, on average, those cars, in many ways, they're just better. Now, will Tesla last for 10 years? Hell no. I would never. For reliability, long-term longevity, I wouldn't rely on it. But it is the most popular EV, and it's selling exponentially. Toyota and Honda, those last forever. And the cost of their labor is much less. Now, if the UAW wants to be invested in results, I think a good compromise would be have GM, Ford, and Chrysler give them stock options in the company. Give them an extra reason to be motivated and work like hell. And again, I don't mean to be pejorative or say people don't always work hard in these instances. I know some people who worked in fab shops, who worked in body panel shops, and I've gotten some nice feedback in the comments from people who are working the assembly line at the UAW for some of the big three. So again, I'm not saying every single person is that, but I'm saying the incentive structure is more often than not based on tenure. I think, again, this would probably be the antithesis of the UAW's leadership with Sean, but I think a good idea would be give him more of an invested stake in the company, have him get more of a share in the stock, set up more of a profit sharing model. I think that would motivate both parties to work together to get the transition they want. Because again, they want to be an EV company. Let me know in the comments, do you think they'll succeed? Will they beat Tesla? Who again, just in one news article of them having a supercomputer, added more stock value than all the stock value of BMW. All of that was just added to Tesla just because of the news of their Dojo computer. So will coming down from 40% wage increase to 36% increase or wage increase, will that get approval by the big three? I don't think so, which is why, unfortunately, I think there's going to be a strike, which hurts a lot of people. Another issue that a lot of people I think some people in the comments aren't bringing up or concerned about is the economy. In some instances, the rate of people buying vehicles is decreasing, partially because of the government. They printed more money than you could ever possibly imagine. Ironically, somewhat because UAW helps people get elected in government, but it's one of those instances where they printed so much money. Now, to combat the inflation they themselves created, the government has to increase the interest rates. Increasing the interest rates, that's going to drive down demand on average for new vehicle purchases. So that's another issue. There's a lot of uncertainty. Most companies are laying people off. Everyone from Microsoft to Google to mom and pop shops. I mean, I believe Google or Microsoft alone laid off 10,000 employees because of the economic uncertainty and their decreasing profit margins. So it's in terms of striking, it's very advantageous to do it now because they could hurt GM and the big three a little bit, but perhaps not as bad as if it would be a booming economy and you have a lot of people demanding new vehicles. Right now, I guess anecdotally speaking, no one I know is buying a new vehicle. They're trying to make things, everything they're buying, they're trying to stretch their dollar further. They're trying to make it last. And Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors, they're already artificially manipulating the market for trucks. Specifically, she shut down the truck assembly lines to try to help the dealerships out so they're not, quote unquote, overstocked. So they don't have to negotiate as much. So there's a lot of variables at play. Let me know in the comments, is decreasing their ask from 40% to 36% enough for the big three to say yes? What do you think are the realistic ask that they're coming to the table with that they'll get? What things do you think they'll be able to meet in the middle on? Will they be able to find common ground in time? I mean, it seems to be down to the hour, quite literally, since today the contract is expiring. And it's not to say, I'm not saying something might not come in at the final, 9 p.m. or something, but right now it seems as if all signs post to there will be a strike. How long it will last, how widespread it will be, the union has already, many of the divisions and many of the companies, they've all voted overwhelmingly that they are in support of a strike. So I would say if they don't get a deal they agree with by Thursday night at 11:59 p.m. I certainly think they will strike. I guess then the next question is, how long will it be? What products will be disrupted? And how many, people say pejoratively, scabs, how many band-aids will the big three have to hire to offset the strikes to keep products moving? And how much demand is there for products anyway right now? Let me know in the comments. It'd be fascinating to see what you have to say. And I appreciate your perspectives, whether you work at GM Corporate or you work at one of the UAW assembly lines. More data, the better, and I appreciate your input. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of September, so if you click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to like and comment. The feedback is greatly appreciated, whether it's your experience working on the UAW assembly line for the new Corvette, or if you're a GM manager struggling to maintain a budget with these negotiations. Whatever your experience is, I appreciate the input as it gives more information out, able to shape the stories even better, more accurately. Also, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.